Do all religions point to the same God? Why or why not?
No. I'm going to say this. Romans 1, for whoever wants an answer to that question, I would say you need to go to Romans chapter 1. We have to go to the Bible as our source for what is true. Would you guys agree? We got to say, okay, what does God say about it? So not what does Jeff Durbin say about it, but what does God say about it? God says in Romans chapter 1, starting at verse 18, you can go to it later to read it. It says, again, what I said in the message, that the wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. It says, we all know God, but we suppress the truth in unrighteousness. The problem is not light. It is suppression. So in other words, we're all in the image of the same God. We all know the true God, but our problem is, John chapter 8, we are all slaves of, anyone know? Sin. We're all slaves of sin. And so we suppress the truth in unrighteousness. So what does Romans 1 say? Here's the answer. Why are there so many religions in the world? Romans 1 says we all know the same God. We suppress the truth about him, and it says this. We profess to be wise. We become fools. Our thoughts are futile, and it says that we don't want God in our knowledge, and so we switch God for an idol. And so sometimes the idol is readily apparent. I love pho. Anyone love pho? Yeah. Okay. Not everyone in Phoenix knows about pho, but I know about pho. Okay. So I love it. And oftentimes when I go to these restaurants in Phoenix that are pho restaurants, they've got the little shrine, right? And apparently their gods love orange slices and pennies. It means a lot to them. And so they're always, making the orange slice and the pennies. And you see the idolatry. It's like very, very vivid. That's an idol. I see it. Sometimes the idols are not so apparent. For example, sometimes the idols are a god we worship like sex or drugs or alcohol or Facebook or, I got you, didn't I? Okay. It's an idol. You go to it for what you can only have in God. You sacrifice to it. You worship that thing. That's what we do. That's just our MO as fallen people is to go chasing an idol. So everybody knows God. The problem of other religions and other gods is suppression of truth, and we don't want God, so we switch him for an idol. And if someone says, but they say they believe in God, I would say that Jesus said in John 14:6, I am the way and the truth and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. He said that he was the only way to reconciliation and peace with God. This is important. If you go to Apologia Studios on YouTube, you'll see just, maybe hundreds of videos we have up now, public debates with atheists, having conversation with our Mormon neighbors, Jehovah's Witnesses, agnostics, they're all there. You can listen to actual conversations and on the street stuff with people and even public debates. But here's a good example. Do you guys have a lot of Mormons in this area?
We do.
You do? Mm-hmm. So say Mormonism, for example. Mormons borrow Christian terminology. So when you talk to a Mormon, you'll say Jesus, they go, yep. You say Heavenly Father, they go, yep. You say salvation, they go, yep. And they go, look, we have a Bible. See, it's right here. King James Version, 1611, King James Bible. We also have the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, a pearl of great price. And they sound very Christian. You go, well, they must be Christians because they say Jesus. But if you get underneath the language, well, what do you mean about Jesus? When you come to him, who is he? They say, oh, well, Jesus is our elder brother. He is the spiritual brother of Lucifer, Satan. He is the offspring of Heavenly Father, who is a resurrected God-man, who has many wives and is a polygamist in the pre-existence. And our ultimate goal is to go through the same exaltation he went through and to become a god and goddess of our own planets one day. That is the God of Mormonism. And someone says, well, isn't it all the same? Not by a long shot. John chapter 1, verse 1 says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the Greek, it's better. Just going to say it real fast so you can maybe watch it later and memorize it later. En archein hologos, kai hologos ein proston theon, kai theos ein hologos. In the beginning, as far back as you want to go forever, Jesus was already there. And it says he was proston theon, face to face or toward the Father, in intimate relationship with the Father. And it says he is God. So watch, it says that he was in the beginning with God and he created all things, John chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. And it says, without him, nothing's come into being that came into being. So watch, the Jesus of the Bible is the eternal God who's always existed alongside the Father and is the creator of everything in existence, including Satan. The Jesus of Mormonism is one God among many gods, the spiritual offspring of a polygamous God, and is Lucifer's brother. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. It is possible to have a false God and a false Christ that cannot save. And in our context today, I know that disrupts people's comfort. It's uncomfortable to talk about hell. It's uncomfortable to talk about judgment. But I want to just suggest this to us humbly. Love demands more than an emotional appeal. Love demands action. Yeah. And if you truly love God and love people, you'll tell the truth no matter the consequence.